Okay, so the connectors on the that are the plug connectors that are connecting her headset. It looks like if you just twist those a little bit, it all of a sudden shorts out her headset. Can you? She can hear now. She can hear me talking. She can hear herself talking in the headset. Can you hear her at all, John? So she's continuing to talk. You can just go ahead and read this if you want to read that. She's reading your flyer intro. She's on mic 2. Yep, she was on mic 2. She just read one of the announcements during the game. I'm not sure what to do with all these buttons and dials. If you look at these dials here, you see these dials are all the same except for this one is plus 15, so that should, whatever that means. These are all the same. And you're plugged into 2. All right, so I wonder if John's going to run across campus here to come over and check things out. I guess if we have to, I'll just go ahead and start out until we can get your stuff fixed. We are 3 minutes till game time. Those will be our starters. So Tyler Morgan, 6'7" setter from Dike, Iowa, will be setting number 3 at the right wrist taped in black. Max Rocky, number 9, is your outside hitter, along with Antonio Rodriguez Elias. Is that the right order? Antonio Rodriguez. Oh, sorry, Elias Rodriguez. We can just call him Antonio. Antonio, middle blocker. He's a redshirt senior, 6'8", out of Puerto Rico. Michael Sack back to serve. He's your 6'9" redshirt junior out of right here in Oak Lawn, Illinois. Be interested to see how the cameras work tonight. That one on the pole right there. It looks like it's just waiting to get hit with the ball. Are you excited for it to get hit with the ball? Yeah, I would love to have some action on our monitor that we can see here kind of as the game's played out. Like when they're like, I know we don't do a lot of replays here. Our high school does a little bit of replays. But I'm usually watching the action. I'm not watching the screen. So I'm not really attentive like, oh, hey, they're playing a replay. I probably should be aware of that to talk through the replay. So I should be watching that screen. So, yeah. The biggest thing they do with that screen is they have a different camera angle. So like when somebody's serving, they might zoom in on him, and you might be able to say, oh, hey, there's a nice view of Christian Prager or 6'4" outside or Oppo from St. Louis. He'll dribble the ball once or twice. There's the serve, and then we kind of go to the wide screen action. Looks like Nico Paula is your S2 tonight. Nico Paula, outside hitter for 352 Club out of Florida. Likes to swing. El Libero 2 and Setter 2. How about that? Oh, your typical S2 is Gibbs. Gibbs is your backup setter, but he's going to be Libero. So I wonder what the rule is with Liberos. If you designate 2 for a match. So they did that one time at McKendree, and then Gibbs went to put on his regular jersey to play, and they couldn't do it. All right, good evening and welcome to the Lewis University Television Network. I am Rick Rocky and I am joined tonight by Rachel Kazarowski to bring you all the action of our coverage of the Lewis men's volleyball team tonight here at Neil Carey Arena as the Flyers take on the McKendree Bearcats. Rachel, go ahead and say hello to all our folks.
Hi guys, welcome in. We're here for what should be a good game. Last time the Bearcats took on Lewis at McKendree, they went to 5.
Yeah, and it was a reverse sweep in favor of Lewis, so always a tough one to take, a reverse sweep for you non-volleyball fans when you lose the first 2 sets and then take the last 3. And lo and behold, the very next Friday, Loyola Ramblers came into McKendree, did the same thing to them back-to-back. So they're coming here a little hungry for a victory, right, Rachel?
Oh, for sure. And if you remember last year McKendree was here, we had that really long set that was I want to say it was 44, 42, something like that. It was definitely ridiculous.
It was the second longest set in men's volleyball history. The next highest set was 1 point more for each team.
Crazy.
So here we go. So we got lineups here coming out. You're going to be able to see them on your screen here. McKendree setter Tyler Polson, number 3. He is a redshirt junior. Your Oppo, number 10, is going to be Bryce Wetjen, a 6'7" freshman out of Las Vegas. Number 15, who is this? I don't have him down on my start.
Jacob Gall.
So Jacob Gall looks like he's getting the start at middle blocker, along with Kevin Shuley, number 19, 6'4" outside hitter from right here in Chicago. He is from Wheaton, Illinois. Kyle Wilson, 6'4" outside hitter, redshirt junior from the Bahamas. He is number 20. And number 24, that is Roland Lively, a 6'8" freshie out of Las Vegas. And can't forget Francisco Comas, the 5'6" libero. I think he's a graduate student from Naperville. We'll go through the Lewis lineups here. Looks like we're going to turn some lights off.
And now, let's begin.
Your setter is going to be Tyler Morgan, a 6'7" sophomore out of Dyke, Iowa. Your Oppo is Sivert Drolsum, 6'6" freshman out of Norway. I just said he was an Oppo, folks. I think he might be playing outside tonight. And then a 6'8" sophomore, number 9. His name is Max Rocky from Johnston, Iowa. He'll be one of your outside hitters tonight for Lewis. Middle hitter, Michael Sack, redshirt junior from Oak Lawn, Illinois. He's a 6'9" middle blocker for Lewis. Your other middle blocker, opposite of Michael Sack, is going to be Antonio Elias Rodriguez, a 6'8" redshirt senior out of Puerto Rico. Played with a little Puerto Rican national team this past summer, international tournaments. And then your Oppo, Christian Prayer, a 6'4" high-flying lefty out of St. Louis. He's a redshirt junior. He's number 23. And your libero, Paula's not wearing his libero jersey. Paula, number 4, I think he was introduced as libero along with Gibbs, number 5. Paula, 6'1", freshman from Tampa, Florida. And Gibbs, he's a 6'4" utility player, maybe 6'5", depends on what day it is, out of Texas. And then your utility player, of course, Carter, what's Carter's last name? Johnson? Carter Johnson. I think he's from Plainfield, Illinois. He's our special team member there from Team Impact, bringing the guys into the huddle. So I think one lineup change I had there, Rachel, from my initial thought was at middle, it looks like it's going to be Jacob Gall, number 15. So Jacob Gall, he is a 6'7" redshirt senior. Number 15 there as a middle blocker. I had down Daniel Duggan. I wonder if Duggan's injured or if maybe just Gall's going to get the start over him. Is there a little smoke in here, Rachel?
Yeah, when they announce the Flyers
machines?
lineup, they bring out the little fog machine, and sometimes if it takes too long to get through all the numbers, there's a little fog in the area still.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I'm looking at the Lewis lineup, and it looks like right now Rocky is opposite Sack and Sivert Drolsum is opposite Antonio. I'm not sure if Coach Friend has a weird lineup going on here or if they're just maybe out of position. Because Sack should be front left if Antonio's my first server.
Yeah. I think someone just needs to tell Seaver he's got to step over a little bit.
So again, I think a little bit of a different lineup tonight for Lewis. Looks like Seaver Drolson might be your OH2 tonight. Opposite Max Rocky. And Christian Prayer is Oppo. So a couple lefties in the lineup right now, both in the front row. Seaver will be hitting on your left. Antonio back to serve. McKendree will be passing Shuley, Wilson, and Comas. And there we go. First offering from Polson. Tight to the net. Wetjen just has to put that one off the platform of Morgan. Rocky sets up Drolson. Wilson passes that up. Middle attack to Gall, and Gall making his presence felt early. Nice middle set there by Polson, kind of running a quick tempo 31 ball to that 3-hole. Wetjen back to serve, bringing Polson into the front row as a front row setter for McKendree. Rocky off the top of the block and dug up by Wilson. This is outside to Shuley. That's a high ball. Off the block, touch, and for the point. McKendree, nice play by.
He beat that one through the triple block, going high hands down the line.
Nice job by Shuley.
Rocky could not pick it up.
2-0, McKendree at the lead. Wetjen back to serve for his second offering from the line. Rocky, a little bit of an overpass. Looks like Rocky and Gibbs might have had a little bit of a miscommunication on the pass there, but kill by Gall. Looks like his second kill of the game. Wetjen back to serve, leading 3-0. Off the top of the tape, Rocky passes it up. Middle attack, Michael Sack. Hello. Kill number 1 for Lewis.
Yeah, he puts that one down, and he gets Lewis on the board. And now Christian Prayer goes back to serve, down 1-3.
Polson still a front row setter for McKendree, so that means Wetjen will be hitting behind the 10-foot line. Prayer, high toss, cross-court swing. Polson, Shuley, nice cut shot, dug up by Gibbs. Gall turned back by Morgan. Dug up by Rocky. Sack pushes it deep for Wilson. Polson's going to go to Wetjen. Wetjen, that ball is out. And there was a touch call or a net call.
I think it was a net violation by the Flyers.
Okay, I see the net bouncing a little bit.
Yeah, and I saw it bouncing earlier in that rally, but they let them play on, but I think called it again at the end there.
No objection from Friend. McKendree back to serve, leading 4-1. This is Shuley, your 6'4" sophomore from right here in Chicago. Sack again. This time takes a little something off it.
Yeah, just put that one just over the block. Lightly tapped it. I think the defense on their heels didn't pick that one up.
Michael Sack's got a high contact point. He does a nice job of contacting that ball either in front of his body or letting it cross over his body. So Morgan can definitely use Sack a little bit there on that middle attack. This is Drolson. Off the platform of Shuley. Polson outside to Wilson. Wilson sent back. Double block by Morgan and Sack. If Rocky was over there jumping, he might get a half a block there too.
He would. He would get credit for it because technically you're taking away some part of the court, but
just because you don't touch the ball, it doesn't mean you don't get your half.
Exactly.
So Lewis with a little side out and a point on serve cuts the deficit to 1. Drolson, the lefty from Norway, back to serve. That one's to Shuley. This is a kill for Gall. So Gall again, is that his third kill of the set?
It might be.
So Gall I didn't even have on my radar as a starter. I thought Duggan was going to start, but Gall is in there, and for good reason.
Yeah, that's Gall's third kill, and now he's back to serve.
Head coach Nikki Sandlin knows what she's doing. Gall to Rocky. Rocky dug up by Wetjen. Polson off the block and out. So Kyle Wilson with a nice tool time off of Tyler Morgan's right arm. And the McKendree bench lets Lewis know about that tool time. Gall back to serve again. He'll be serving to the trio of Drolson, Gibbs, and Rocky. This one is to Gibbs. Morgan, the connection with Sack is there tonight.
Yeah, that's Michael Sack's third kill of the night. He cannot be stopped right now.
He is not going to be outdone by Jacob Gall.
No, it looks like there's a battle between those two middles right now. And right now they're both out, so we'll have to wait.
My money's on Sack. Sack's back to serve, has a nice hard, kind of a float, not really a hybrid, more of a float serve. But Antonio Elias into the front row for Lewis. Shuley, nice pass to Polson, out to Wilson. Wilson, this ball is out. Trying to go wrist away down the line and puts it out, Rachel.
Yeah, it looks like he tried to go cross body, but he was already facing line, so that cross body is going to lead him just wide of the sideline.
So Lewis obviously taking off a lot of angle off that shot and giving him some line there. Sack back to serve. Is he going to target Wilson? Targets Wilson. Polson. Middle attack to Lively. And the Lewis block is Lively on that one.
Oh, yes, definitely. And Max did jump that time, so he's going to get his half a block there.
So we actually had 1.5 blocks on one play.
Yes.
They each get a half. That's
Right.
You look at the stats and it will show you like all the half blocks added up, but then we'll say total blocks and we'll take that into account.
Yes.
Sack back to serve. Lewis now tied 6-6 with the Bearcats. Polson, Lively, a little missed time. Lewis is going to be running system, and Morgan catches him sleeping. What is the saying that you would use for that middle donut shot? What do you use it in women's volleyball on your team? What do you call that?
We just call it, like, sometimes you call it the donut.
The donut?
The drop shot, whatever it is, like, it's open.
We played a men's team when I was younger, and the men's team would always do that to us, and they'd always say, soup's cold. Like a campfire, and nobody's putting a log on the fire to keep the fire warm. So
Yeah, I've heard campfire before, too.
back set to Wetjen. Wetjen, that's off the antenna, and Rocky taking up space as a blocker. That's the blocker's goal, right? To take
It
up
is.
space.
Yeah, you want to funnel them to one direction, typically towards your best passer.
Or the antenna.
Yeah, that works, too.
It's like in basketball, they talk about the out-of-bounds line is like another defender. In volleyball, the line and the antenna is like another defender. So Sack back to serve on a nice little run here. Zach's got that nice serve. Sholey, this is going to be an outside set to Wilson. Off of Morgan and out, so Lewis doing a nice job of not giving Wilson too much space.
Yeah, it looks like Wilson's really trying to work the line or go tool off of Tyler Morgan's hand, so we'll have to keep an eye on that one tonight.
Polson back to serve for the Bearcats, leading 8-7. That brings Wetjen into the front row as an oppo. Polson, Drolsum, Morgan, Rocky off the antenna. A little bit of a miscommunication between Rocky and Morgan, which is odd. They played club together for 4 years and now college for 2, so they'll figure that one out before the night's over.
Yeah, just missed tempo, but the antenna got that one, so working in favor of the Bearcats.
Gibbs and Drolsum and Rocky back to receive. Polson sends that one long. Drolsum doing his best Matrix impersonation.
Yeah.
And Lewis takes a 9-8 lead with Tyler Morgan, the 6'7 sophomore from Dike, Iowa, back to serve. As the bench talks, Captain Morgan back to serve. Technically, he is the Lewis captain for tonight. Nice hybrid. Float toss, but an overhand swing. Wetjen slips that one inside the block. McKendree has quite a lively bench. I would say not quite as lively as Lewis. Lewis is notorious for having a lively bench.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it's going to be there. It looks like they're trying to compete with Lewis, but I think Lewis is going to still be louder.
Wilson with the high toss. Off the net. Antonio to Rocky on the backside. Rocky with his first kill of the night. That's just what Rocky needs after an error and a couple digs by McKendree. So Rocky, I think, 1 for 4 with an error, hitting 0, but let's see, hope that one goes nowhere but up. With that kill, Rocky earns the right to go back to serve. He'll be serving at the law firm of Shuley, Comas, and Wilson. Comas with a nice pass. Middle attack to Lively. Gibbs trying to get a pancake, but no can do, says the line judge. Kill by Lively. With that kill, Lively earns the right to go back to serve, bringing Gall back in the front row with his 3 kills in his hip pocket. Lively, the 6'8 freshie out of Las Vegas. Morgan back set to Prayer, and Prayer just unloads down the line, bounces it in front of Lively.
Yeah, Lively didn't want any piece of that. He started to back up before Christian even swung.
I don't know anybody that wants a lot of that. I think as a team, don't you really recognize when the middle is serving and they come in to play back row defense like that after serving?
Oh, you definitely do. You're always talking where they're playing defense, where you can target that side of the court.
On the women's game, the libero can serve though, right? So they can
Yes,
serve for
they
one of the
can.
middles?
Just for one of the middles, though.
Yep. Shuley passed up. Blocked back. Seaver, Drolsum, and Michael Sack. Nice combo block to send Wetjen home. Wetjen had a huge game the 10th against Loyola. Had like 25 kills, which is ridiculous. But Lewis is kind of holding him in check so far tonight. Antonio back to serve. Huge toss, huge swing. Had a great little serving run the last couple home games. This one he puts into the net. But with that, Lewis now leads 12-11. Wetjen back to serve. Wetjen teases his hair up out of his eyes. Could use a bit of a man bun there, Rachel, if you ask me.
Yeah, just something to tie it back a little bit.
Wetjen, a little bit of a float toss, but a swing, and then Sack. There's our favorite Oak Lawn, Illinois resident, Michael Sack. You said earlier that he could not be stopped.
No, that's his 4th kill, which means he passed Gall for middle competition.
Let's see, how many swings does Sack have? Gall is 3 for 3. Sack is 4 for 5. So Sack's got one more attempt. Well, extra attempt there, but okay. Anyway, Prayer, outside swing to Shuley. Shuley finds the gap in the block.
Yeah, that one's down.
Shuley's 2nd kill of the night. Looks like he's hitting 400. 2 kills on 5 swings. And with that, Shuley earns the right to go back to serve, bringing Kyle Wilson into the front row for McKendree. Drolsom, Rocky, and Gibbs will be passing for Lewis. This is out. Close, but out. Paula coming in as libero for Gibbs. Looked like Paula is going to play defensive libero, and Gibbs would play serve-receive libero. It hasn't been going that way all night. This is kind of the first time Paula stepped on the court.
Yeah, maybe he needed some extra time to change in his jersey.
Yeah.
Like when the lineups were a little lost, and if he had his white or red jersey on.
Yeah, I hear ya. Drolsom back to serve, putting Rocky into the front row. Wilson passes up to Paulson. Back set to Gall. Gall playing a nice middle. I did not recognize this Gall character. He has not played before in front of me watching, but doing a nice job tonight here for McKendree.
Yeah, and he ran a slide, which is typically popular in the women's game, but I know that he does it really well, and the guys were trying to prepare for it this week.
Yeah. Rocky up to Morgan. Back set to Prayer. Prayer, a back row attacker, has to jump behind the 10-foot line, which he did. Prayer unloads on that one, cross court.
Yeah, found the hole in the block. Unfortunately, number 19, Kevin Shuley, could not handle that one.
A little too hot to handle. Sack goes back to serve, bringing Antonio Elias Rodriguez back into the front row. Lewis's front row, 6'7", 6'8", 6'8". Sack had a nice serving run last time. Passed it by Comas. A little tight there, a little off the net, I mean. Wilson dug up by Seaver Drolsom. Back set to Prayer. Oh, roll shot. Paulson. Oh, this is a high ball to Wetjen. Off the block. Lewis is going to live to play this day. This is going to be to Rocky. Rocky hits that one just out a little bit. No touch, no net. McKendree at the point. So McKendree now down by 1. Paulson back to serve, pushing Wetjen into the front row. So they'll have a back row setter on McKendree's side. Looks like Morgan is a front row setter for Lewis. So look for a little whoop-de-doo, tipsy-do by Morgan. Paulson finds Rocky's platform and aces for McKendree, tying the game at 15. Referee beckons for serve. Paulson drops back. It's going to be a toss for a hard hop top spin. Drolsom, Morgan, Antonio dug up by Comas. High ball to Wetjen. Kind of lost his footing there. Had to kind of readjust mid-approach. Wetjen with the kill.
Yep, found a way to go outside of Antonio's right hand, just in front of Christian Prayer for a kill.
Wetjen now with kill number 3 on the night for him, according to the scoreboard. And Lewis and McKendree pushes back to a lead now, 16-15. That ball just caught a little flat. We call that spatching it. Hit like a spatula. Paulson spatched that one out just long. Tie game at 16, Rachel. We have a game to 9, looks like right now. First one to 9 will win this match. Set.
Yeah, been very close, and it's been very fast. See who can get to 25 first.
Let's hope it's the Flyers. Morgan, float toss, comes over the top of the top spin swing. Back set to Kyle Wilson. Seaver Drolsom with a one-handed dig. This is a back set to Drolsom. Comas is going to, ooh, that's tight. So Comas tried to do too much with that, almost kind of overplayed that ball.
Yeah, set that one over, and Christian's like, nope, not today. He put that one back down.
You always talk about out-of-system balls. You want to keep those 5 feet roughly off the net to give your hitter something to do with it, and Comas just tried to do a little bit too much. That might be the only mistake Comas makes tonight. He's a high-level player. Lewis now leads by 1, 17-16. Morgan with his second serve. Paulson's going to go out to Wetjen. Wetjen sent back. Comas has to platform it because he's in front of the 10-foot line. And Kyle Wilson sneaks that in between Rocky's left hand and the antenna. Incredible. Nice swing by Wilson.
Yeah, that was a tiny hole. I didn't see it until after he hit the ball. There was a hole in that block.
So Wilson, 3 kills on 2 errors on 8 swings. He's hitting 125 on the night. I'm guessing he's going to heat up before the night's over. Scores tied at 17. Shuley into the front row. Wilson back to serve. Rocky, Gibbs, and Drolsom on the pass. Gibbs, Morgan, Antonio off the platform of Comas and out.
Big swing there by the middle on a solo block. It's really important for setters to find their middles when they're slightly off the net, because it catches the blockers off guard.
Right on. Middles usually hit a higher percentage than your outsides because they typically hit one-on-one on a good pass. With that, John Davis, the 6'5 redshirt junior from Naperville, Illinois, in for Max Rocky. Davis is going to serve and probably play some back row. We'll see what Rocky comes back in or not. Davis with a high toss. Passed it by Comas. That ball is a little tight, and they're getting a touch call on the block, so a point for McKendree. Looks like Davis just went in as a serving sub. Rocky's back into play. And the Bearcats are bringing in Nardoni, as a serving sub for one of their middles. Passed up by Rocky. Morgan. Drolsom off the platform of Wilson and out.
Yeah.
Morgan, nice job tracking that ball down to set.
Might have been too hot to handle from that one. He was right there, and then next thing you know, the ball's in the bleachers.
Drolsom has a nice quick arm swing. Antonio back to serve for Lewis, bringing Michael Sack into the front row, and his 4 kills on his right arm come with him. Polson's going to be a back row setter, I believe, for McKendree. Antonio just off the side of his hand and out.
Yeah, that one just out, just a little wide.
Can't believe they're laying off serves that close.
I know. Maybe they should have used a challenge on that one with their new challenge system.
Yeah, maybe not. Wetjen back to serve. Polson being in the front row now for McKendree. Wetjen to Drolsom. Morgan's going to find Drolsom again. McKendree's going to get this ball up. That's a tight ball. That's, again, with the out-of-system play. That's 2 out-of-system plays by McKendree where they just overdid it a little bit and just not settling for just getting the ball in, maybe recycling it for living to play another day.
Yeah, and that's the second play in a row where we've almost hit the ref.
What? Crazy. Prayer back to serve. Morgan's going to be in the front row as a setter. Prayer, Wilson, Polson, Shuley dug pass back. Ooh. Back row attack for Wetjen. Just eases it off the block and out. Wetjen with a nice kind of smart swing there. Tie game at 20, so we were playing a game to 9, then a game to 8, then a game to 7. It's back and forth, and we're tied at 20 here, folks. We're playing a game to 5 points. Gibbs, Rocky, and Drolsom to pass for Lewis. Shuley back to serve. Wilson into the front row. Shuley to Gibbs. Morgan out to Drolsom. Drolsom roll shot. Dug up by Comas. Sack sent back by Wilson and Gall.
Big momentum play for the Bearcats. That was a really great up there by Comas. One-handed, went over the net, unfortunately hit right into the block for the Flyers.
Yeah, Tyler
McKendree's
Morgan
point.
wasn't over there to play that overpass. He was like setting the ball, I believe, on the far left side of the court. So McKendree takes a 1-point lead with Shuley back to serve. Rocky passing a dime to Morgan. Rocky with a kill. Boy, I almost thought his foot was on the back row.
I did too. I knew it was really close.
I wasn't, just out of the corner of my eye, I'm like, oh my gosh, he's on the 10-foot line. But
yeah.
Nobody called it. Nobody said anything. So nice swing by Rocky. That's his 2nd kill of the night. And Drolsom going back to serve. So now Rocky will be a front row attacker and blocker along with Sack, who is flanked on his right by Morgan. Tie game at 21. Here comes Drolsom. Pass by Shuley. Polson. Did you see him kind of sneak a look at the defense?
Yes. That's one thing a lot of high-level setters look to do, to find the blockers and to see if the blockers are moving, and he just decided to take matters into his own hands and throw that one over with his left.
So McKendree hits 22 to Lewis's 21. This is the Tyler Tripp. He is a 6'3 sophomore into serve. Gibbs. Morgan back to Prayer off the block and out. So Prayer with a kill. That looks to be, well, his stats aren't up on the board there, but according to my stats, that'll be his 4th kill of the night. Lewis bringing in serving subbing specialist Ryan Collins, a 6-foot libero from Dublin, California. He'll be in to serve for Sac. Collins is maybe the third libero on the team. Great job to have a serving sub come in and play that libero spot on defense.
What a great floater.
That, who does your backup libero serve? Serve the libero. Show him who's the boss. And with that, Ryan Collins calls a meeting in the conference room with Francisco Comas as his boss and gets an ace. Collins now pushes Lewis lead to 1, 23-22. Serves it Shuley. Paulson. Wilson. Wilson with the kill. So Wilson with the kill ties it up at 23. Paulson, the setter for McKendree, back to serve, putting Wet Jen into the front row. We are now playing a game to 2, tied at 23. Gibbs, Drolsom, and Rocky back to pass. This time Rocky passes to Morgan, outside to Rocky. Rocky off the hand of Shuley and down, and now Lewis with their first set point, leading 24-23.
Yep, and as we near the end of the set, it's important to remember you have to win by 2. So if McKendree was to take this point, it becomes a game to 26.
Or to 28, or to 44, or to 46.
Exactly, we never know.
I'm going to pull up that game from last year, Rachel. So we're going to go ahead and stay right here. The clock's set to 1:15. Do you want to talk through a couple stats that you're seeing there, maybe some players that are kind of standing out so far?
Yeah, well, we've already mentioned throughout the match that the two middles, Gall for McKendree and Sack for Lewis, they're going at it. They both are hitting really well, 4 kills each. Then we got to pay attention to Christian Prayer for the Lewis Flyers, number 23. He has 4 kills on 5 attacks. So he's hitting 800, which is really good.
That's very good.
And then if we look at McKendree, outside Wilson, he's got 4 kills on 8 attempts, but 2 errors, so he's hitting 250, but they're feeding him a lot. Same with Wetchen on the right side.
So I look at that match last year when Lewis played McKendree. It was 45-43.
Crazy.
It's pretty much an entire another set.
It really is.
So we played 4 sets that night, and we lost the first one. And then when we won that second set, if we would have lost that second set, I think it would have been over.
Oh, I definitely agree.
The fact that we won that, I think it gave us some new life. It's almost like you win 2 sets when you win that long. So
yeah, and then when you look at the next 2 sets, it was 25-16 both sets, I believe, and so that just tells you like momentum was gone.
I think McKendree kind of lost all their mojo too.
Yes.
So
little bit being gassed.
Right on, yeah. So resetting here, Polson back row setter for McKendree, Morgan back row setter for Lewis, back to serve. Prayer into the front row. He'll be on Antonio's right, and then Rocky will be on his left. So let's see if Lewis can get a good defensive play here to win this first set. Morgan passed up by Wilson. Outside to Wetjen. Wetjen blocked up. We're going to be living another day here. Oh, this one's dug up by Seaver. Back set to Prayer. Prayer in for the kill, and we had a net call. So either way, Prayer with the set-winning kill. We go 25-23. Lewis wins that first set. It was back and forth. I would love to see
really
what
was.
the biggest lead was during that game. If I had to guess anecdotally, I would say maybe 2.
I think it was 2, and it might have been 3 in the beginning of the match because I remember we were down 1-3.
I
and
thought we
that's
were down
when we got the
1-4.
point.
Yeah.
So I think it was 3 points very early in the match, and then Lewis came back, closed it up.
So not a huge comeback, but Lewis
Right.
did come back from being down early, which I think Lewis has been typically a slow starting team. It's, as a fan, you're like, why can't we just get going and play like that, like you played at the end, at the beginning? So.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I can't answer that one for you, Rick.
Yeah. So, Rachel, let's talk a little bit about you here. So you're on the women's volleyball team here at Lewis. You are a freshman this year, but you redshirted, is that right?
I did redshirt, yes.
So you have 4 years of eligibility remaining here at Lewis, and you're from just up the road, about 45 minutes, is that correct?
That is totally correct.
Okay, and what's your major here at Lewis?
I'm going into elementary education.
Oh, bless your heart. My wife and my daughter are both teachers.
Wow.
Do you know that John Davis is also
Yes, we
in
have the
elementary
same
education?
Yeah, we have the same advisor.
Yeah.
So I remember that she was talking to me when I told her I was a volleyball player. She's like, "Oh my gosh, do you know John Davis?" And I was like, "Yes, I do."
Do you think John Davis would scare any younger elementary age kids walking into a room with a full beard like that?
I don't think he would. He might scare them once he finds out he can jump like 20 inches. Then I would be scared if I was an elementary school kid.
So they're going to go to PE one day, and the PE teacher's going to be like, okay, we're going to do a volleyball session today. We're going to have Mr. Davis kind of demo how to play volleyball, and the kids are going to be like, scared.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, he can't play. He's not athletic, and then you see him hit a volleyball, and you're like, holy cow.
Was there?
That's my teacher.
Was there a certain teacher in your life that kind of caused you to want to get into elementary? Because usually when students get into education as a major, usually some teachers have some kind of an impact on them.
Yeah, my 5th grade teacher is the one who inspired me to become a teacher, and it was awesome because my senior year of high school, I got to intern with her for her last year as she retired that year. So it was like bringing things full round circle, and it was just so awesome. And yeah, she was amazing, and I just love the way she interacted with us as students, and I just want to follow in her footsteps.
Well, let's give her a shout out right now today then. And it was Mrs.
Yeah, Carolyn Litke from Liberty Elementary School.
Carolyn Litke, if you're listening to Rachel Kazarowski here on this live stream, congratulations for being such an impactful teacher in her life there. So our clock is set at 3 minutes between games. Between the games 2 and 3, it'll be set to 5 minutes, and we're just down to about 30 seconds here. So all the kind of bench players get out here on the net and kind of keep their legs and their arms warm in case they get called into action. In case you are listening tonight, you are watching the Lewis University Television Network, as well as the GLVC Sports Network. So we have our YouTube channel up and running, as well as the GLVC Sports Network as well. There goes the clock. Teams are going to hop out back on the court. It looks like McKendree is bringing out the same 6 plus Comus. Lewis looks to be the same ones as well. Rocky and Drolsom as outsides. Prayer as your oppo, Sack, and Antonio as middles, and Gibbs as your libero. I wanted to look at Drolsom's stats real quick. So Drolsom, number 7, has 1 kill on 5 swings. Does that seem right to you? I thought he had more kills than that.
You know, I thought he did too.
I know he had a roll shot that got dug up by Comus at one point, but anyway, the stats don't lie, and if they do lie, they're actually the truth. So there's nothing we can do about that. So
yep.
Drolsom with 1 kill, Rocky with 3 kills, but a couple errors, so he's only hitting 160. Sack, again, 4 for 6, but that 1 block late, so that counts as an error, hitting 500, and Antonio hitting 500. So Lewis's middle's hitting 500. I would think a good middle would hit in the high 3s into the 400s for a season. A good outside hitter would be in the high 2s, 270, 280, 290 is a good OH. If you're hitting in the 300s, the outside hitter, you are doing a really nice job. All right, Lewis up 1-0. Polson back to serve. Drolsom, Morgan, Rocky, back row, Bick. That ball is down. Yo, Adrian.
Yeah, for real.
Love the back row Bick. I just love the way what that's brought to the men's game. I know the women's game you see it a little bit, maybe not as quick tempo, but I love what the Bick does because it gives you an extra attacker, almost
really
4
does.
attackers. So
yeah, that was Rocky, right?
Rocky.
Yeah, he said screw the 167. I want higher percentage.
And with that, Lively follows up with a kill of his own out of the middle. So Rocky pushing his hitting percentage up to almost 300 off of 1 swing. The numbers are small, so the one good or bad kind of adjusts quite a bit. Wilson back to serve, tied at 1. Shuley into the front row. The law firm of Drolsom, Rocky, and Gibbs back to pass for Lewis. Off the top of the tape, and Rocky passing dimes to Prayer. Amen, brother.
Oh, my gosh.
Prayer unloads.
He really does.
He just backs up the dump truck and just dumps a huge load right there on the court in front of McKendree.
I mean, you said it. He's a 6'4", high-flying right side. And, I mean, if you had any doubts about it, there goes your answer.
Last fall when I was traveling with the team, just watching the team play all their scrimmages, I was doing a bunch of live streams, and I was calling every player a high flyer. And I'm like, in volleyball, every player can jump. Every player is a high flyer. So my daughter was like, Rick, you can't call everybody a high flyer. So I think I'll save that for Prayer.
Okay. Makes sense.
So Rocky having a really nice first couple points on set number 2 here. 2 swings, 2 kills, hitting 1,000 for this set. But overall, he's just at 375. And that's kill number 5 for him. Just behind Prayer's 6. Drolsom back to serve. Ooh, kind of a flat serve high up in Wilson's platform. Shuley, triple block.
Oh.
We're going to get this one up. We're going to play again. Paula, Paulson. Shuley, off of Morgan and out.
I mean,
nice.
That's frustrating as a Flyers fan, but it's frustrating for anyone who loves volleyball in general. It was a great touch there by Nico Paula and then saved by Max Rocky,
Yeah.
So we were able to keep the play going, but we couldn't. McKendree terminated.
Lively back to serve, trailing by 1. Gibbs. Morgan's going to go way outside to Rocky.
It's a great
Rocky
set.
blocked back by Wetjen. Wetjen just kind of showed up out of the middle of nowhere. Rocky off the touch. Wilson playing deep corner defense. Polson, Shuley, Morgan. What's going to happen here? Here's Wetjen. Wetjen off the block and out. Nice little scramble play on both sides of the court. McKendree ends up on the winning side of that point. I always tell people, Rachel, the best momentum change in a volleyball game is a huge defensive play that turns into a point.
Yeah.
Either a big block or a big kill after fighting through that point. So I was hoping Lewis would get that point there to get some huge momentum kind of jumped onto their team. Rocky into the block. Wetjen and Gall pushed Rocky back. So after a couple nice swings to start out there, Rocky with a hitting error right there off the block. Lively back to serve, leading by 1, 4-3. He'll serve a float. Rocky passes it up. Morgan to Rocky. Rocky blocked back again.
Yeah, Wetjen is just fired up. That's 2 blocks in a row for him.
I don't think Rocky's getting a good transition. They're actually serving him, so he has to pass, and then he's not getting transitioned out to really get behind the ball and get a good full approach.
I agree.
I think Tyler Morgan, I think Coach might have said, if Rocky's getting served, you might want to look for a different attack option. Lewis is going to send this one to play. There's Polson. Back set to Wetjen. Wetjen off of Gibbs and out. So Wetjen with a couple nice blocks and then a nice swing.
Yeah, feed the beast, as they say. And just like that, Dan Friend calls timeout early for the Flyers.
So Lewis trailing 3-6 early on in this set. They trailed by 3 early on in the first set. So nothing to get alarmed by, folks. But Lewis looking to call a timeout, maybe right the ship here. Clock was set to 1:15 on the timeout. We're down to about 1 minute now. Friends in there talking to the team. Sometimes a coach's timeout is all you need, right?
It really is, just to slow things down and just kind of keep your composure.
You know what a coach's point is?
Yes, I do.
Describe for the fans what a coach's point is, Rachel.
So coach's point is something that players yell when your coach calls a timeout to try and ice the server, and then the server misses. And so you're like, yep, point coach, we didn't have to do anything. Thank you.
Either a serve out or a serve in the net is a coach's point. And you only get 2 of those a set as a coach. You only get 2 timeouts. So Lewis warming up there. That's on your camera. That's Coach Nikki Sandlin. I think she started the program 10 years ago. This is McKendree's 10th year of having men's volleyball, and Sandlin was kind of the pioneer coach for the McKendree Bearcats, doing a great job growing the program to what it is today.
Fun fact about her, she also coaches the women's team at McKendree, so I see her pretty often. We see her in the fall as well as the spring.
Yeah, a lot of the men's teams, they started out with the women's coaches coaching the men's teams as well. The programs have grown enough that there are a lot of coaches that split that out now, and they have separate coaches for men's and women's. So Lively back to serve. Your front row for McKendree is Wetjen, Gall, and Shuley. Lewis passing Rocky, Gibbs, and Drolsum. Prayer tucked in as your oppo back there. Gibbs, Morgan, Sack. That ball was dug. Rocky smartly puts that one in Wetjen's grill and says, I'm not taking any more of that.
Yeah, it was a good finish there by Rocky, but it was a good pancake there for number 24, Lively, as a middle, getting that defensive pancake. Coach high-fived him right away.
Nothing better than the middle, digging a ball and pointing to the dig or pancaking a ball. So nice job out of Lively. Sack, Polson, back to Wetjen. Wetjen inside the block of Rocky, between the gap of him and Antonio. Wetjen having himself a nice game. That might be kill number 7 for him, leading all swingers. And with that, Wetjen earns the right to go back to serve. Float serve to Gibbs. Morgan. Antonio. That ball is dug in, so that's a dig and a kill for Comas.
Yeah, I don't know how that one gets
We're going to
recorded.
see if Comas gets himself a kill in the stat book or not. I know he'll get a dig for sure. And Antonio goes over and shakes Comas' hands, giving him credit. Yep, kill for Comas. Comas is 1 for 1, hitting 1,000. Serve out by Wetjen. Lewis takes point number 5. Morgan goes back to serve. Lewis trailing by 3. Prayer into the front row. He'll be on Antonio's right. Rocky will be on Antonio's left. Morgan, nice hybrid. Wilson, Prayer. Amen, brother.
And he megged Shuley. He megged Shuley, hit that one straight through his legs.
Are you a soccer player?
I actually used to play soccer when I was younger before I got into volleyball.
Volleyball nutmegging somebody is not quite, intentional like it is in soccer. In soccer, you do it definitely to show somebody up. In volleyball, it just kind of happens.
Yeah.
Morgan off Shuley's platform. This is wet Jen. Dug up by Morgan. Drolsom stepping in. Rocky digs that one up. Back to Prayer again. Shuley and Gall send Prayer back.
Yep. Put that one down. Christian had a first swing, blocked, and then Shuley's like, enough of this. Let's just end it already.
Shuley earns the right to go back to serve after that block, pushing Wilson into the front row. Drolsom, Gibbs, and Rocky back to pass. Trailing by 3. Shuley passed it by Gibbs. Morgan, Antonio. Wonderful, incredible one-handed set by Morgan.
That was a great save. That ball was just about to cross in the plane in the net, but he saved it.
And Morgan, being a back row setter, can't cross the plane and can't attack and can't block, but he can definitely go up and bring that ball back into our side and let Antonio play it. Rocky back to serve. Drolsom into the front row. Rocky serving a float. Passed up by Shuley and Wilson, and then that is an ace for Rocky. So Rocky, typically a high, hard top spin server, throwing in a float serve and surprising Shuley. Rocky with an uncharacteristic float serve ace. Lewis now cuts the deficit just to 1 now, trailing 8-9. Rocky finding Shuley again. This is a slide attack to Gall, misses it badly.
Yeah, a little miscommunication. I mean, we see that in the women's game. It happens where a set's either too high, because when you're in middle, you got to connect spot on, and anything off, and it's just like, oh, last minute stretch, you can't reach it.
And that slide approach, you have a couple different ones, right? You have like a quick slide, like right behind, almost like a 6, and you have like a 7 ball. So you have a couple different levels of slides. Wow, Rocky's float serve is giving McKendree a fits. Morgan, Prayer. This one finds the court. That was down.
That one was down. And he went over the block.
OTT, we call that. OTT.
Yep, over
and
the
Lewis,
top.
And the Lewis bench will let you know that. So
Yeah.
Lewis now, after a 3-point deficit multiple times, ties it up, takes a lead 10-9. Rocky doing damage from the service line, sends that one long, but not before a side out and an ace and another 2 points, I think. Lewis now tied with McKendree. Gall back to serve, lively into the front row. He'll be there with Wilson and Paulson. Lewis passing Drolsom, Gibbs, and Rocky. They're all up nice and short and tight looking for a float serve. You want to try to take a float serve with your hands, not with your platform. Lewis with the recycle. Out to Drolsom. Drolsom off the block and down.
There's the second kill. I mean, according to the stats.
According to the unofficial stats.
Yeah.
Actually, they're official. I love the recycle play at volleyball. Ball's tight to net. Maybe you don't have a great play. You see a huge block in front of you. You just kind of tap it into the block with the intention of having them block it back and then digging it up. And then now you're in system. And I love what they did right there with that play. BPR, as he's known by his bench crew, off the platform of Wilson. Dug up by, Prayer.
Oh,
So I believe Prayer thought Morgan was going to grab that. And Morgan said, hey, get it. And then Prayer wasn't ready.
yeah. Great dig there by a middle. BPR, as you said they call him.
Well, he is 6'8", and he is from Puerto Rico, so.
It does make sense. I'm not dissing it.
Paulson back to serve, bringing in Wet Jen into the front row. Rocky, Morgan, outside to Drolsom.
That was a great set. From one setter to another, that was a fantastic set. By
Tyler
Tyler
Morgan, you're getting some setter props from my setter up here in the booth. That ball was tight, and
That
Morgan,
was tight.
he almost turned his body just a little bit to keep his body away from the net.
Yeah, dips his right shoulder and kept that ball off the net. Great swing there by Seaver.
Oh,
Great
listen
finish.
to the technical evaluation of Tyler Morgan's set. So back row attack meant that Paulson is a back row setter. When he touched that ball to set it, the ball was above the height of the net. And when the ball crossed over the net, immediately he became a back row setter, Lewis's point. So even if Drolsom would have killed that, it would have been not a kill.
Yeah.
Prayer. Just a bit long, but Lewis now led by 2 there. So they went from down 3 to up 2. So a nice little 5-point swing by Lewis.
Wilson serving.
So now Lewis is up by 1, 13-12. Wilson back to serve, pushing Shuley into the front row. Drolsom, Rocky, and Gibbs will be passing. Morgan is a front row setter. Don't forget that. That ball is out. Lewis bench reminding everybody that ball was clearly out. Every now and then you see a ball that gets hit just a little bit funny and it hits the back wall.
Oh, yeah,
The
those
Lewis
are my
bench
favorite.
gets crazy when that happens. Drolsom back to serve. He's your OH2. Pushing Max Rocky now into the front row. Drolsom, just clips the top of the tape. Trying to drop that in short. UC Irvine from California, they have a gentleman named Hiller Heno from France. He's a lefty that plays outside hitter for them. So they kind of have a similar lineup that we're running here with a lefty outside hitter. That ball is out. He's also a pretty good ace server himself. He actually leads the nation in aces.
Wow.
I think he's setting a record for the most number of aces ever. So Hilaire Heno, a good server out there in UC Irvine. Drolsom trying to drop a short one in as he does as well. Collins coming in to serve for Sac. Ryan Collins, 6-foot libero from Dublin, California. Played his club ball with the Beta Bay Club out of California. Paulson out to Shuley. Shuley dug up by Wilson.
Oh, just a little
Shuley
long.
dug up by Collins. Sorry, just a bit long. Love Collins' energy. Nice job, Ryan Collins.
Yeah, you know he wanted that one to land just in, kind of like Comas did earlier in the set.
I love those. One time in club, Max had a shot, went off his shoulder in the back row, and then it bounced all the way back to like the coffin corner, like the way back corner.
Yeah.
And that was when we were down 13-11 in the third set.
Momentum.
It was huge. We ended up winning 16-14.
Wow.
So I digress. I'm not sure what happened there, but Lewis got the point on a service error probably.
Yeah, it was service error.
Looks like Wetjen put one in the net. Morgan back to serve. Lewis leading 16-14. Off of Wilson. Okay, so the referee said that the ball was not in the plane of the net. It was clearly on McKendree's side. So Max touched the ball when it was clearly on McKendree's side. That's what the referee decided.
Yeah, that means not one part of the ball, not 1 centimeter crossed it. We'll see. I mean, we do have that new net cam, so could be challenged, but not anymore. Ref beckoned the
I
whistle.
don't think you can challenge.
Oh, judgment call?
I don't think you can challenge an over like that. You can call a double or a touch at the net, but that call is an over call, so you can't replay it back and say the referee looked at where the ball was at when it was touched.
Okay.
I think.
That's fine. Well, you just heard the Lewis bench chanting, ball don't lie.
The ball does not lie.
Yeah, Shuley served it a little bit long, so it should have been Lewis's point
Which
according
is
to the Lewis bench.
It's a technical term when you feel like the last play was called incorrectly, and then immediately the other team makes a mistake to give you the point. So Lewis leads by 2. John Davis, 6'5", redshirt junior from Naperville, back to serve. Serves that one off the platform of Shuley. Paulson to Wetjen. Wetjen inside the block of Drolsom and Antonio for the point. So Rocky in his float serve that got us 4 points on service last time. They brought in Davis, who had a pretty nice hard topspin serve there. Rocky back in, passing with Drolsom and Gibbs. There you see Nardoni serving sub for McKendree. Rocky passes it up. Oh, back set to Prayer. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hey, we're not going to hurt anybody here, Prayer. Come on now.
I know. I mean, I saw that one coming. I was like, oh, he's going to flick it back to Prayer, and then Prayer snuck it down the line for a kill.
I didn't see where that ball went. I was thinking, like, that's a big block up there, and next thing you know, the ball is, like, bouncing into the backcourt.
Yeah, it definitely was a big block, and I think he snuck it just on the inside between the antenna and Wilson.
Cole Brillhart, a 6'2", redshirt senior, captain of the team, back to serve. He's number 1 on his jersey and number 1 in your hearts, Rachel. Brillhart back to serve, leading 18-16. Nice short. Oh, what a tough serve.
It's a great serve.
Shuley just has to send over. That was a double she missed. Morgan, back set to Prayer.
Oh.
They're saying it was off the antenna.
Hold on. Hold on.
The ball was off the antenna.
Yep, I think so too, and I think at first they thought it clipped the net and then the antenna.
Well, if it hits the net right next to the antenna,
Yeah,
the
it's still
antenna
out.
is going to start wobbling because it's right in the net there. But
Yeah.
with our new challenge system cameras that are on the sidelines, that'd be an easy call to see on the camera. So Lewis now leads by 1, 18-17. Paulson back to serve. This is passed up by Drolsom. Morgan. Oh, I like that.
That's a great find. I mean, you're far away from him, and you don't see it really coming because you're watching the ball in the setter's hands, and then next thing you know, Sack puts that one on the ground.
Is that a 31 or a 1? You know what I'm saying? Because the 31's in the 31 hole. He was in the middle of the court, but he wasn't a 1.
Yeah,
a 1 is on the setter, right?
Right, it is.
And the 31 is in a specific spot on the net.
It is.
Sack run a 31 distance.
We have one that's like that where it's a pushed one, but it follows the setter, so it would be in the 31.
Yeah.
But it got pulled, so it got pulled
anyway,
to like the 1 zone. Yeah.
Wetjen swinging off the block touch out. So Wetjen with a kill. That's his 8th kill of the night according to my unofficial stats. And with that, McKendree cuts the deficit to 1. They only trail by 1, 18-19. Wilson back, high hard top spin. Into the net. Wilson trying to pull the string on that, dropping it short, but instead misses it in the net. Gibbs out, Paula in. So again, a little bit of a switcheroo with the liberos. Gibbs playing serve receive and Paula playing back row defense. Seaver Drolsom, the 6'6" true freshie out of Norway, back to serve. Rocky into the front row for Lewis. Wilson passes that up. Polson out to Shuley. Shuley kind of overran the ball just a little bit, but was able to find a hole in the Lewis block.
Another serving sub coming in from McKendree, number 6, Tyler Tripp. He came in the first set.
Yep, he was a libero for the Future Club back in high school, a local Chicago club. So he's making a little return trip back here to Chicago. Tripp, Drolsom, Morgan out to Rocky. Rocky dug up by Morgan. Prayer is going to send this one back to Drolsom, back row. Dug up by Tripp. Nice set by Polson there. I thought he got a little too much finger action on that set. But Polson, a nice job to set his middle on that ball there.
Yeah, I know a lot of the refs are turning to doubles only if it doesn't go where the ball is supposed to. So even if it's really spinny, but it goes to the part where the setter wanted to set it, they're not going to call it.
Tripp into the net. Lewis takes point number 21. Yeah, I think the men's game, you don't see very many doubles called. Like you said, if it's not egregious and if it's not catching it and throwing it, they let a lot of doubles go, especially when the setter does it. Once the middle puts their hands up to set, the whistle blows almost before the middle sets it.
It really does.
Sack back to serve. Antonio into the front row. He'll be there with Rocky and Morgan. Sack off of Wilson's platform. Polson out to Shuley. Shuley out and no touch. Out and no touch. Shuley is asking for a challenge. So initiate the challenge review system, also called CRS. Lewis just have a new system. And I wonder if they're actually using the new system here. But they have, you probably can't see it on the screen there. There is a camera straight away in the middle of the court above the door on the balcony and a white block about the shoebox size. That might be one of the cameras. There are 4 other cameras on the sidelines extended. But this is going to be a challenge touch call off of Shuley's swing. Each coach gets 3 challenges, right, Rachel? So each coach gets 3 challenges, and then depending on if they win it or not, if they win the challenge and the call is reversed, then the coach keeps the challenge.
Yeah.
Then they keep the challenge. So technically a coach could have multiple challenges, more than 3. But once they get a challenge wrong, they lose it. And then the only way they get more challenges is if the match goes to 5 sets, then they get an additional 1 challenge. So down referee looking at the challenge review system. Oh, there's your camera. Thank you very much.
Yeah, there's one of like 6 or 7 that they put up this week in the gym.
There's 4 just like that on the end line, sidelines extended. And there is a camera up here on the scoreboard. Yeah, I'm not sure where they're all at. But anyway, the down referee will look at the system and see what he can find out.
Yeah, I really wish they would show us what the down ref is looking at, but...
You know, they never, ever show that. Hold on here a second. Here he comes. Touch call, point McKendree. So challenge is won by McKendree. So Coach Sandlin did not lose a challenge. He still has 3 remaining. And with that, the score is now tied at 21. Wetjen back to serve. Paulson is a front row setter for McKendree. Morgan also a front row setter for Lewis. He'll be there with Rocky and Antonio. Wetjen with a toss. Passed up by Drolsum. Morgan out to Rocky. Rocky touch off of Polson, hoping he wouldn't get called for it. But then he said, yeah, I touched it. It's always interesting. As a coach, you're like, don't lie to me.
Yeah.
If you touched it, don't lie to me because I'm not going to challenge it.
Yeah, you don't want to waste a challenge on it.
Yeah, so players got to be a lot more honest now. Lewis leads by 1, 22-21. Morgan back to serve, pushing Prayer into the front row for Lewis. Morgan, nice hybrid. Polson, high set to Shuley. Shuley off the block, high and out.
Yep.
So Shuley with kill number 8 for him with no errors. Shuley, incredible, hitting over 500. Shuley back to serve, tied at 22. Drolsum, Gibbs, and Rocky to pass. Gibbs, Morgan, Antonio. She's calling them over the net. I wish I could see that better. I wish I could see the net angle on that because I thought with Rocky's ball earlier, I felt like Rocky stayed on his side of the net when he was going up to attack it. And I almost felt like that was the same thing, that Morgan was really reaching into the net to grab that ball. But the referee's right there. They make that call on their own. It's a judgment call.
Yeah, it's a quick call, and you got to be confident with that
And
call.
as a fan, you're always hoping that your team has the advantage, right?
Yeah, always.
Overpass. Front row setter, Drolsum, I didn't think identified that. And with that, the game's tied at 23, just like last set. Tied at 23 late in the match. Gall back to serve. Gall's been a little bit quiet this set. 5 for 5 kills and swings. I think 4 of those came in the first set. Gall back to serve. He's going to serve a float serve. See if Lewis can pass with her hands. Gibbs, Morgan, back set to Prayer. Prayer whips that one through the block. Amen, brother.
Always. He's been liking that 5-6 seam down the line.
I think he's been liking just hitting the ball really, really hard. All right, so Prayer gives Lewis a set point. We will have 1 set point here. Antonio back to serve. Michael Sack into the front row along with Drolsum on his left and Prayer on his right. Rocky and Morgan in the back row along with Antonio. Polson.
Great serve.
Sorry, that was Shuley with an overpass. Rocky with the kill. Net call, but it's a kill for Rocky. Nice job on the back row, Bick. Lewis had all the options.
I know.
Running
That set,
there.
We started with the Bick, and then we ended with the Bick. With
I love
Rocky.
that. I love the memory there. Okay, so we're going to set the clock to 5 minutes. We're going to do about a minute here of kind of talk about some stats and what we're seeing. And then we're maybe going to turn our mics off here for just a little bit as we give a little break to our voices here. But Lewis, again, really tight sets. We were down 3 early on both of them. We come back, and at 23 all, we score 2 points in a row, right? So we won both sets.
The same thing in set 1, too. Down by 3 early, and then came back 25-23 again.
And I would say Lewis earlier this year, they've really struggled late in the matches to try to put things away.
Yeah.
So as much as you would love just to destroy teams, like 25-12 and walk out of here with a 3-set victory,
right.
There's something about these tight games that you just can't replicate in practice.
No.
So it's nice to see that us have these opportunities and execute the way that we are. Any last second thoughts here before maybe we turn our mics off for a couple minutes?
I don't think anything really about the game. Just a quick shout out to we have 3 local high schools here tonight, which is what we see in the crowd. We have Bolingbrook High School, Fremd High School, and York High School. So just give a shout out to them. Thanks for making the trip down and watching some good men's volleyball.
All right, we're going to go ahead and turn our mics off here. You can go ahead and watch this student serving game where they have some non-volleyball players trying to win some swag. So we'll be back on the air here in about 2 minutes. All right, welcome back to men's flyer volleyball here on the Lewis University Television Network and the GLVC Sports Network. I am Rick Rocky, along here with Rachel Kazarowski to bring you all the action from tonight's matchup versus McKendree. First set went the Lewis's way, 25-23 after a tight back-and-forth match. Set the whole way. Second set, pretty much a repeat of the first set, 25-23 as well. Lewis won that first set, getting out-hit by McKendree. Out-hitting McKendree, 444 to 364. The second set, Lewis wins, hitting 321 to McKendree's 600 almost. Incredible. I can't believe that they won that match. Looking at those stats, how they got out-hit so bad.
Yeah, I don't know. You don't see that in the stats very often. And like we were talking, McKendree came off to a really quick, early, hot lead, and then Lewis is able to catch up and close. I think it came down to service errors for McKendree. I think that's what let Lewis back in the game.
Service errors were one thing, and then looking at the stats there, we both had 14 kills. So that means McKendree had less swings to get that higher hitting percentage. So that probably means that Lewis had more digs. So I think based on all that, the stats, you look deep into the stats, you can understand why a certain team won. But just looking at the most popular stats, which is maybe hitting percentage, service aces, number of blocks, those things are all kind of the sexy stats that people see. But the digs kind of, there's a lot of information about a dig, right, Rachel? You dig a ball, and you dig it way behind you, and the team has to run down and grab it. That's one thing. But you dig a ball to a really good pass to your setter, now you're almost in system. So I don't think, looking at the stats, you can tell how good a team is digging. But anyway, we digress. I've been looking at a lot of volleyball stats online recently that are being posted by different people and different organizations. And it's really kind of cool digging into volleyball. The quality of a pass, they rate that on serve receive, but you don't rate that on digs very often.
Right, you don't.
So it's kind of hard to say, hey, that was a good dig, that was a 3 dig, which means now my setter has 3 options. Or hey, that was a 2 dig, and my setter has 2 options. So anyway, it looks like the net camera is being taken down. I'm not sure if they even use that, but it was something they were trying to put up there. So the camera on the net looks like that's gone, so they'll be left with the remaining cameras. Lewis starting with the same 6. Rocky and Drolsom's is outside. Sack and Antonio is middles. Tyler Morgan setting. Christian Prayer oppo. Looks like Gibbs and Paula are going to maybe flip-flop as liberos. McKendree, same 6 as well. Gall and Lively as middles. Paulson starting out front row. He'll go back to serve on McKendree's first side out, but he'll start out front row. Antonio back to serve. Oh, nice job by Antonio. As hard as he hits the ball, for him to pull that out.
Yeah, he took some off of it, added some extra spin, and it really caught Comas off guard.
Comas is not like that. Comas is angry. He's angry when he gets aced. Comas is just a competitor. BPR back to serve. Second offering from the service line this set, leading 1-0. High toss. Ace number 2. Wow.
2 for 2. There's no question. That was it.
And he just rocked the baby. Oh, Antonio, I love it. I love his fire. So Antonio with his second ace of the match, both coming on his last 2 service attempts to go along with 2 kills. Lewis leads 2-0. Antonio's like, who am I going to pick out this time? Puts that one under the net, Rachel. A little bit embarrassing, but hey, not after 2 points.
No, it's not. I think he did that to himself after rocking the baby. Maybe jinxed it a little bit.
I think so. I'm always a big fan of people just doing their job, going back. I love getting emotional and fiery, but I don't like the sportsmanship type thing. I'm not saying that was, a sportsmanship thing, but I just love when a player does something and it goes back and does it again.
Yeah.
Gibbs, nice one-handed pass there. Prayer, that ball is going to be pushed out. Nice serve, hard to handle by Lewis. Just couldn't put things back together there. Not an ace, but just a miss hit by Lewis. So Lewis is going to challenge that there was a net touch. So the referee, interesting, he pointed to Lewis's side of the net and did a net touch call on Lewis's side. But the referee just said that Lewis is challenging that there was a net touch. So it's Lewis's challenge. So they'll look for a net touch on McKendree, and if they do touch the net, then it'll be Lewis's point. It'll be 3-1 instead of 2-2.
With it being tied up early in the game, you have to wonder what's going to happen last time we played against McKendree. Is that going to happen tonight here?
A reverse sweep? Don't even say it.
Yeah, and Neil Carey. I didn't. You said it first.
I don't want.
I hinted at it.
You were laying into it. You were just begging me to say it. All right, so Lewis looking for a net touch here. Friend, I think, does he have all 3 of his challenges left? I don't think he's used them yet.
Yeah, he has. This is the first one he's used.
And Sandlin has all 3 of hers too. I think she used one and
she used
won
one
the challenge.
and won it. Yeah.
So the down referee is looking at all the different video options available, going through the things pretty quick. Nice quick challenge here. We'll see if has indisputable evidence to overrule the call. So here's the call. Point for McKendree. So that means there was no net touch. So Paulson will go back to serve, tied at 2. Lewis will be passing Gibbs, Rocky, and Drolsom. Drolsom and Rocky talking about that seam between them. Who's going to pass that? Typically, Rocky should take that since Drolsom is a front row attacker. Allow him to not pass and get into position to attack. Rocky passing a dime. Drolsom. Oh, nice.
Just like you drew it up.
Swipe. Was that like a swipe off the block?
Yeah, he wanted to go inside hand since he saw the middle wasn't pressed over with his left hand, and it caught on the inside of McKendree's court in for a kill.
And if you're a right-handed attacker, you don't quite have the angle that he had as a lefty.
No, you have to go straight at it versus trying to swipe.
So Christian Prayer back to serve, leading 3-2. Prayer with his 10 kills. Passes or serves to Shuley. Polson out to Wetjen. Wetjen dug up by Rocky. Rocky with a one-handed dig. I'm not sure if that counts as a dig or not. If it dig it out of bounds like that, but
I'm not sure. But because it hit the bottom part of the antenna, it's automatically ruled out of play.
the antenna, the net outside the antenna, the straps, the poles, the padding, the ball touches any of that, it is out. Wilson back to serve, tied at 3. Gibbs, Rocky, and Drolsom to pass. There's Drolsom. Morgan, is going to high to Drolsom. He's going to push it over. McKendree's going to be in system. Lively in the middle. The back, dug up by Prayer. Nice job. Morgan, better set out to Drolsom. Drolsom, did he kind of roll that slow through there?
He did. He's kind of toying with the blockers, it feels like. Just like, hey, your hands aren't 100% pressed over.
Did you just rock the baby for Drolsom on that one?
I might have.
Toying with the block.
The camera doesn't see me, so I might have.
I love it when a hitter goes up to hit and they kind of slow their arm swing down, and you can literally see the blockers with a nice pressed block, and they pull their arms back as they're coming down, and then the ball hits them and it goes on their side of the net.
Yeah.
I love a hitter that's able to do that and adjust in midair. And Drolsom with that kill earns the right to go back to serve. That's off the platform of Wilson. Shuley's going to bring this in play. Over by Wilson, so not an ace by Drolsom, but this is kind of a mistimed Bick. Shuley blocked down. So I believe the Lewis player touched the antenna.
Yeah, I definitely saw something hit the antenna. The net is still moving. But
so the Lewis player touched the net.
Looks like Tyler Morgan's admitting it too.
So what happened there is the referee called out, but it was actually a net touch, I believe. So Dan Friend was just questioning the actual call the referee was making.
Good ball there by Seaver.
Rocky hits that one just a bit long. I thought that was going to land in.
Yeah.
Carried just a little bit long, and McKendree takes a 1-point lead, 5-4. Lively, passed up by Drolsom. Back set to Prayer. Prayer, that ball is out. Interesting, the line judge on our right called it in because it was in on the sideline, but the line judge on this side called it out because it was out past the end line. So both line judges doing their job. Obviously, if either one of them is out, the ball is out. Lively, passed up by Drolsom. Morgan going out to Rocky. Rocky high off the block, dug up by Polson. This is going to be Wilson in the set. Wetjen through the triple block for the kill. Wetjen game-tying kill number 10 to match Prayer. Lewis calling a timeout down by how many? Three early. Replaying the first 2 sets, Lewis down by 3. So Lewis have a couple hitting errors here early. McKendree kind of playing some good scramble ball, getting some good balls up, and then getting some good hard swings off of that.
Yeah, let's see if the Flyers can come out of a timeout. Last set, Dan Friend called timeout down 3 as well. And they were able to turn out of it. So we'll see if they can happen again.
There you see the Lewis bench. Gibbs, number 5 in red. Paula, number 4 in red. On the left side of the bench, you see Carter Steinbach. What's his last name?
Johnson?
No,
Carter Johnson?
No. Carson Steinbach in the green shirt, along with Cole Schweitzer, a couple freshmen that are going to redshirt. There's Kevin Calling with his right hand, looks to be wrapped a little bit, so Calling standing over there in the green shirt as well. Dan Friend, Lewis head coach, 19th season here at Lewis. Nikki Sandlin, head coach of McKendree. I think this is I thought it was her 10th season. I guess it's her 9th season here, so nice job leading that McKendree program. Lewis bringing the same characters out onto the court, as well as McKendree. Let's see if Coach Friend can get a point out of his first time out, maybe icing the freshman Lively back at the service line. There you see Lively back there on your screen. Wilson's in the back row there for McKendree. This is going to be passed up by Rocky. Sack. McKendree's going to send this one over, dug up by Prayer. Outside swing to Rocky. Rocky off the block and out. Kind of a slow roll swing off the high end of the block. I think Rocky needed that one.
Yeah, just any sort of momentum changer for him personally, and then for the team to get something going for now Sack at the end line.
Sack at the end line, back to serve, trailing 5-7. McKendree's going to pass the law firm of Shuley, Wilson, and Comas. Sack with the offering, finds Comas.
It's a great serve there by Sack.
Comas aced again by the Lewis Flyers. We were talking earlier about some of the receiving stats for the McKendree Bearcats. 959 for Wilson, 955 for Shuley, and 928 for Comas. So if you're going to serve anybody, Comas, not much, but the passer that's been aced the most for McKendree from that perspective. Oh, nice job by Gall to get that one off the net and down. Lewis not ready for that. Kind of a lucky swing, I think, if he hits the net like that.
Just trickled and went through the block, and it's hard to pick up.
Wetjen back to serve for McKendree, leading 8-6. This is into the net, into the drink, into the tape. Lewis takes point number 7, and now trailing by 1. Tyler Morgan back to serve. Nico Paula, the 6'1 freshman from Tampa, played his club ball with 3.52 in as libero. We'll call him the back row defensive libero for Lewis. Morgan off the platform of Wilson. This is out to Shuley. Shuley off the block, dug up by Morgan, can't quite get at it. Kill for Kyle Shuley. Kevin Shuley, sorry Kyle. Kyle Wilson. Kevin Shuley with the kill. Looks to be number 10 for him or number 9. Now the stats there, just number 10 on the board. Shuley back to serve after that kill. Passed up by Rocky. Here comes Morgan. Out to Prayer. Off the block and high. Shuley's going to send this one up. Paulson out to Wilson. Wilson off of Morgan. Oh, can't quite snake that one down. Wilson doing a nice job pushing that through the block on a tight set. Shuley with 10 kills to match Prayer's 10. Rocky with 9. Wetjen leads all attackers with 11. Shuley back to serve, leading by 3, 10-7. High toss, hard top spin, Gibbs. Nice job by Tyler Morgan again with the one-handed set. Antonio, the benefactor of that nice set. Do you work on one-handed sets in practice a lot, Rachel?
We don't typically try it. It was just kind of like if you team is just passing tight over and over again, you'll get better at it.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes I think the men's team actually practices on it. They'll actually try intentionally to put a ball tight to the net. This is Wetjen, dug up by Rocky and out into the crowd. Wetjen with a nice hard swing there, kill number 12 to lead the game. Again, Wetjen had a monster match against Loyola a week ago. 25 kills in a 5-set. When they had a reverse sweep, they lost to Loyola, but he had 25 kills in that match. Serving sub, nope, this is Gall. Passed up by Rocky. Morgan back to Prayer. Prayer roll shot right to Paulson. This is Shuley. High ball to Wilson. Wilson inside the block. Frustrating as a coach when you have a triple block on an out-of-system ball and you don't get pressed over the net.
Yeah, that one was really tight. I had no idea if it snuck on our side, the Flyer side, or McKendree side or not.
McKendree's largest lead of the night, 12-8. Oh, nice job by Antonio to have that tight pass, but tight scramble play, and now McKendree pushes their lead to 5.
Yeah, McKendree with huge momentum here. Like as you said, lead is now 5. Flyers making a libero sub, hoping that Nico can bring some more energy on the court.
So Gall back to serve. I think it's a float serve. Paula in the middle of Max, Rocky, and Drolsom. Nice job by Paula to dig that up. Morgan called for the double. Morgan and Rocky both wanting to set that one, kind of a scramble play. Friend calling his second timeout of the set. Now down 6. First timeout down 3. Now he's down 6. McKendree looking to turn the tides of this match, down 2-0 against Lewis. 25-23 in set 1. 25-23 in set 2. McKendree looking to turn their luck around on this third set.
Yeah.
Wet Jen doing a nice job from the hitting line. 12 kills for Wet Jen. He's hitting 500. Gall, 6 for 6, hitting 1,000. Shuley hitting 588. So the outsides for McKendree. Wilson, is only 6 for 11 with 3 errors, so he's hitting 273. So your outsides for McKendree hitting, my quick math here, probably around 400. Your oppos hitting 500, and your middles are hitting 1,000, and Lively is only hitting 143. So overall, McKendree's hitting 507 for the match. And the third set, you see the numbers there? For the third set, McKendree is hitting 750, and Lewis is hitting 067. Surprised that they're only up 6 with that big a disparity in hitting percentage.
Yeah.
So McKendree 9 kills, 12 swings, hitting 750. Lewis 4 kills, 3 errors on 15 swings, only hitting .067. Gall back to serve. Brillhart in for Rocky as an outside hitter. Brillhart number 1, along with Paula and Seaver Drolsom. There's Gall with the toss. Brillhart the hand pass. Morgan back set to Prayer. Prayer off of Shuley. Blocked back by Lively. Prayer again.
He was angry on that one.
This ball is out, so I believe that's a kill for Prayer. A kill is when you cannot corral the attack. You could have 1 touch, could have 3 touches, could have no touches, but McKendree never had the control of that ball.
Yeah, Christian was angry with that swing. He wanted that one down. He hit it hard.
Antonio back to serve. Michael Sack into the front row. Tony with a high toss. Passed up by Shuley, out to Wilson. Wilson off of Prayer and out. McKendree now again up by 6, 15-9. Paula back in for Antonio. Polson back to serve. Wet Jen into the front row. Lewis passing Paula, Brillhart, and Drolsom. That ball is out. Brillhart barely missed that one.
Yeah, dodgeball champ right there, 2023. I don't know how he meant his body like to avoid that ball, but he did.
He got a close shave on that one. Prayer back to serve, bringing Tyler Morgan to the front row. So Lewis, front row setter with Tyler Morgan.
Great
that ball
serve.
is in.
Yeah.
Comas and Shuley, that is an ace. The team got aced. An individual player didn't get aced. So sometimes in the stats at the bottom, you'll see team, and you'll see receiving errors. That is exactly what that is. You can't really give that ace to either of the McKendree players. Wilson passed up to Polson. Back set to Wilson. Dug up by Prayer. They're in system. Here comes Morgan. Back to Prayer. Off the block and out. So Prayer with a dig. Reward the digger.
Yeah, he's fired up. He wants this game to be. He does not want to go 4, I can tell you that.
So Lewis now cuts the 6-point lead with a side out and 2 kills off of the arm of Prayer. 2 points off of his serve. And now Lewis trails by 3, 15-12. Clock is set at 1:15 for timeouts. Looking at the crowd here, Rachel. The opposite side that you can't see on the screen right now is pretty full. No, not pretty full. Probably about 2/3 full. Quite a few open spots in between. First couple rows cleared, of course, so they can't be on the court during play. But a lot of good people here tonight on this St. Patrick's Day weekend. Oh, I just got an airdrop of a picture from Joe Mama. Let's decline that. Who is wanting to airdrop me stuff?
Someone on this side that the
Really,
crowd
people?
can see.
So anyway, on this side of the court, the side that you can see, that's the McKendree bench. Behind them, you see a pretty good McKendree crowd in their customary, I'm colorblind, is that blue or purple?
Purple.
Purple, the McKendree wearing the purple there. You see the crowd there. And then looks like there's another high school team maybe there in the middle behind the scorer's bench. And then a little bit sparse here behind the Lewis bench. But pretty good crowd here tonight for I guess last week we were on spring break, so the student section was kind of slim pickings.
Yeah, we got some more students. It looks like some girls basketball. They had a great season. Their season's over now, unfortunately. So they came to support.
Yeah, interesting. They played Drury twice in the regular season and lose twice. They play them in the conference finals. They lose. Then they make the tournament and they get first round. They get matched up against Drury. And they have to play them 4 times. It's just kind of crazy. Comas overpass. This is Michael Sack with the kill.
Got scared there for a second. It trickled the tape, but I wasn't sure if it was going to fall over.
Yeah, and that play 5-10 years ago, that'd be called a total lift. The way he kind of grabbed that and threw it down. In the game nowadays, that's kind of a permissible play. They don't call that as much.
I think it just depends on where you catch it from.
Yeah, if you catch it behind your head and then throw it down, yeah, it's definitely a lift. But if you catch it in front of your head and just push it straight down, you're fine. Wetjen blocked back. Polson, lively, dug up by Brillhart. Morgan to Sack. Off of Wetjen and out. So Sack doing some damage at the net.
Yeah, he had a great block touch there to direct the ball straight to Brillhart. Didn't have to do much work, and then puts that one down. Again, off the tape of the net.
Yep, and I love subbing in Brillhart for Rocky. Whatever happened there, after that it's been a 5-point run. It's been Sack at the net and Prayer at the service line. Brillhart adding some energy for Lewis. That one is just a bit outside.
Very close to catching the corner, but
That
almost
left,
hit the ref's
That
foot.
left his hand and hit the ground in a hurry.
Yeah.
We don't have a speed gun here. At BYU, they have a speed gun, and they can keep track of the speed of serves. And they say some of the better serves can get like over 70, like in the low 70s.
Yeah.
But if they're not in, it doesn't count, right? So it has to be in. So a high, mid 70, low 70 is a pretty strong serve. Drolsom passes up that. Back out to Drolsom. Inside the block of Wetjen.
Puts
Lewis.
that one down for his 6th kill.
Bingo. Drolsom, kill number 6. Lewis trails by 1. And with that, he earns the right to go back to serve. Drolsom has got a high contact point. He'll be serving to Shuley, Comas, and Wilson. This one to Comas. Ooh, that was a back set to Wetjen. Blocked down by Brillhart and Sack, and Brillhart's going to let him know.
Yeah, set was slightly inside and tight, almost trap set, some people will call it.
Yeah.
So all he had to do was hit that one into the block and hope that Comas could be there to recover, and unfortunately, he could not.
I love how Brillhart just turns a little bit slower than maybe he should after that block. Making eye contact. Make sure the ball was down, right? That's what he's looking for.
Yeah, that's definitely what he was staring at.
Drolsom back to serve with Comas. This is an overpass. This is Morgan. Tyler Morgan, the setter. He can hit too. And Lewis goes from down 6 to now up 1. Is the score caught up there? 17-16?
Yeah, I believe so.
I wonder what they were down 6 at. Was it 10-4?
I know
Was
the
it
14-8.
So 14-8. So let's do that. It's a 9-2 run, right?
It
so
is.
We're on the back end of a 9-2 run here at 17-16. Drolsom drops it in short. Comas, Paulson, back to Wetjen. Another block down. Boom! Michael Sack. And Nico Paula, falls to the ground in celebration.
Alec on the bench rocking the baby, or Chase Selahowski.
And I love it how Tyler Simpson walks like Frankenstein on the block.
Oh, yes. That one lit the whole team up. I mean,
So Michael Sack, and Cole Brillhart, he went up for the block too. So Lewis now on a 10-2 run at 18-16. Drolsom back to serve. Wilson, Polson, Shuley. That ball is out, no touch. He's not going to get this one.
A little bit low, but set was trying to go high hands.
Timeout.
I
see a timeout coming. Okay, so I'm going to do my update here. We got a 19-16. We go on an 11-2 run from starting out at 14-8.
Yeah, that's when Dan Friend called the second timeout.
Wow. Nice job. Nice job, Lewis Flyers. This is incredible. So I'm not saying that Rocky was the reason they were kind of losing, right? But they subbed in Brillhart, and you never know what it might take, right? Just one little thing to sub in.
Sometimes at the spark, someone's waiting on the bench, and they're like, hey, like, let's get fired up. And I think Cole Brillhart was able to provide that for the team.
So I love what I'm seeing here. I mean, Rocky's been a starter all season long. He's been playing all the sets. But I love the fact that you put a redshirt senior in, and he comes in, a block, a couple blocks there, a nice little short serve when he gets back there. So just love what Brillhart brings to the game. So with that, Lewis is now the biggest lead of the match. Have they led by more than 3?
I don't know if they have. I know McKendree has, but I don't know if Lewis has.
In our high school basketball, in the state tournament, they show the play-by-play. And on the stat screen, it shows every single play-by-play, but then it has like a little summary, and it shows largest lead for each team and at what point that lead came in. I don't have those stats right in front of me about largest lead here. I just kind of have some summary numbers. Team stats, leaders, play-by-play. So anyway, pretty cool stats that are available online on Sidearm Sports. If you happen to go out to the Lewis website, check the live stats. Warning, the live stats are about a minute and a half ahead of the live action in the gym. So if you look at the live stats, you're like, oh, they just got a point. And then you watch the live stream, like, a minute later, they just got a point. So be careful on that part there. Drolsom back to serve. Lewis leads by 3, 19-16. Shuley passes up to Polson. Polson kind of behind Shuley's head. Comus with a knuckle dig. Oh, that's a double. Polson with the ball handling error, BHE on the stats. I think Lewis had one of those earlier, maybe 2. I think 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, 4-point lead heading into the last 5 points of the game. That's huge for the Flyers, especially being down early, and they could close this out in a sweep.
2016, 12-2 run. Drolsom off of the platform of Wilson. Polson middle to Lively. Lively finishes off the Lewis run at 12-2 run from an 8-14 deficit up to a 20-17 lead. Tyler Tripp, the 6'4", 6'3" sophomore from Hanover Park, Illinois, back to serve. Brillhart
That was a great serve.
tries to one-hand flipper past that. Tripp just ripped it.
Yeah,
if I
big
had
serve.
to guess, his next serve would be either in the net or out. I can't imagine he could do that consistently. That was a rip. 20-16, McKendree trails.
Oh, he called it. He called it. He's too good.
Called that one there. So Tripp earns 1 point, staying in to play defense. They're leaving Comus out of the court. They're leaving Tripp in to play defense. So with that, Ryan Collins, our 6-foot libero from Dublin, California, serving sub in. Of course, he targets Tripp. That ball is going to be out, no touch.
Good save there by the setter. And I think Tyler Morgan recognized he's trying to go high hands and
Yep.
pulled his hands down a little early.
And then as Collins came in to serve, who did he target?
Tyler Tripp.
The new guy. You
Yep.
always target new guy.
Always, especially when they're like, what? I'm staying in?
When my kids were younger when I was coaching, I said, always target the guy wearing basketball shoes. So anyway, Paulson back set to Wetjen. Wetjen finds the gap between BPR and Brillhart. Cuts the deficit to 3. Wetjen back to serve, trailing 19-22. Sack, Collins flip, libero back in Paula, along with Drolsom and Brillhart. Drolsom, tight pass to Morgan. Morgan's a front row setter, so he was trying to attack that ball. Shuley, nice job from McKendree to read that.
Yeah, saw that it was in the plane in the net and went to go get it, put it down. No questions
And I
asked.
think Shuley did a nice job recognizing and remembering that Tyler was a front row setter. That's big. Wetjen. This is Drolsom. Morgan, back set to Prayer. Prayer, that one's blocked down by Shuley. So Shuley, 2 nice plays to the net. Friend's going to call.
It would have to be a challenge. He's out of timeouts, Rick.
He is out of timeouts.
Oh, look at that.
So
Green
he's
card
going
is in his
to
hand.
challenge a call. He's challenging a net call on McKendree. I believe he's going to use this as a timeout.
Yeah, that would be my guess, too. Since he used both timeouts really early, I think he's just trying to slow it down. It's 22-21.
We saw a play out in BYU earlier this year where Lewis had a pancake and the ball was down, but the refs didn't call it, and then Lewis won the point. But right before that pancake, on the previous ball over the net, BYU had a pancake.
Yeah.
So
I do remember
Lewis
watching
won
this.
the point. BYU challenged our pancake. They challenged it, and they said, oh, nope, the ball was down, so a point BYU. Dan immediately challenges BYU's pancake. Before that, the pancake was not good, so then Lewis won the point.
Yeah, that was funny.
Technically, if the BYU coach wanted to come back out and challenge a previous thing that happened earlier on in that play, you could keep going back and forth all the way to the serve and say, I'm going to challenge the serve as a foot fault. You can do all that all the way back, as long as you had enough challenges. So challenge unsuccessful as we expected. Lewis leads by 1, 22-21. Wetjen will go back to serve. Morgan is a front row setter along with Antonio and Cole Brillhart. Wetjen puts it in the net, so coach's point? I think you give him a coach's point for that.
That's the second coach's point this match then.
I've never heard of a coach's point on a challenge.
Well, I think he used it as a coach's point.
You know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
They'd have to have like a coach's point with an asterisk by it. Okay, Lewis leading by 2, 23-21. Tyler Morgan back to serve, bringing Christian Prayer as a front row oppo. Tripp is still in for McKendree, serving Tripp. Oh, nice job. Nice pass to Polson. This is Shuley. That ball is long again. Shuley, after having a monster night for Shuley, he was hitting, was he hitting like over 500?
He was.
He was 10 for 20 hitting 500. Now he has the last 2 swings or errors. Okay, Lewis is going to have 3 set points. Count them. 1, 2, 3. 24-21. Morgan back to serve. Antonio, Brillhart, and Prayer in the front row. Tripp, Polson, Lively. That ball is off the block and out. So now Lewis will have 2 set points off of the serving arm of Shuley. Shuley going to have to be aggressive here on his serve. Can't lollipop it over, or else Lewis will just pound it down, but you can't be too aggressive and miss it. So we'll see how Shuley comes through here. Passed up by Paula. Morgan to Prayer, and the ball is off the block and out, and Lewis wins 3-0. That's a 25-22 victory for Lewis. We are going to wrap things up here right live on the air, and then we'll go ahead and sign off. So if you want to kind of take a look through any stats at all, do you have any stats available you can maybe talk through a little bit here? No? Okay. So Lewis wins a 3-set victory here in the Neil Carey Arena, 25-23, 25-23, and 25-22. Down every single set early, as many as 6 in the third set. Cole Brillhart comes in late for the Flyers, provides a little spark, pushing Lewis that 3-0 victory. As far as some stats go, just looking over quickly here at my stats, Lewis led by Prayers, 13 kills, Rocky with 9. Sack, 7 for 12, hitting 400. From an aces perspective, Antonio with 3 aces. McKendree, 13 kills from the arm of Wetjen, 10 from Shuley, but unfortunately 3 of his swings late were out, so provided Lewis 3 critical points late. Join us Saturday, March 25th, as the Flyers take on Purdue Fort Wayne live right here at the Neil Carey Arena. It's going to be a 5 o'clock first serve, and it's a whiteout night, fans, so don't forget that if you're in the gym, wear your favorite white apparel. Don't forget that all your favorite coverage for the Lewis men's volleyball program is available on the Lewis University Television YouTube network, along with the GLVC Sports Network. And our thank you for watching Flyer Athletics. I would like to especially thank the Lewis University Broadcasting Program and my partner, Rachel Kazarowski, for joining me here in the booth tonight. Rachel, it was a pleasure having you tonight.
Thanks. It was a pleasure to work with you too, Rick. It was a great game, and hopefully we have another great game next week, Saturday, like you said. Right on. And Lewis's next match is going to be against Loyola on Thursday at Loyola, but the next home game will be Saturday the 25th. So this is Rick Rocky signing off from Lewis University Neil Carey Arena, along with Rachel Kazarowski. Good night.